Hi guys, welcome back to SWO TV. This is part 2 of whatever happened to the Intercontinental title, and we've actually got some shout outs from our wrestling forum that we've made. Feel free to join it. It's a wrestling group for wrestling fans. It's just on Facebook. You can type it in, we'll let anyone in, it's fine. The topic that you put on there was greatest IC champ. It doesn't have to be stats based, just in terms of length of reign. And you got anyone?
Well, we've got a couple of things going on here. Yeah, in terms of champions, we've got from Michael Steven Fedorenko, his suggestions of greatest Intercontinental champion. Randy Orton, Randy Savage, and Mr. Perfect are the three clear obvious ones. Possibly give a shout to Owen Hart. Owen Hart, the better
of the Hart brothers.
The Hart brothers. Yeah, I mean, I'm going back again. I mean, he's name-checked Randy Savage, Mr. Perfect, as I said in part 1. Two people in my formative years of watching the American style of wrestling really stood out for me. Randy Orton.
Yeah, Randy Orton, I mean, his Evolution days was probably his best days, when he had that match which I loved with Mick Foley, when he took the tack, when he landed on the tack.
Was that during his Legend Killer phase?
I think it was. He was still IC champion, he was still in the Evolution. That was kind of Randy Orton, in my opinion. That was his breakout match. He went to hit the RKO on Foley, but Foley kind of pushed him off, he landed in the tacks. And that kind of, from there, he kind of propelled a bit, didn't he? It was,
that showed something else. So actually, meaningful.
Yeah, meaningful. Very true, Michael. Randy Savage and Mr. Perfect, obviously.
Oh,
yeah.
The
Nacho King's next. You know who you are. He's put. I'm thinking of one or two people. Jericho for 10 different title reigns over 10 years, and for beating Chyna, and Chyna for being the only woman to hold it, not once but twice. That is a very fair point, to be fair. I always forget Chyna held that belt, but Chyna was class, wasn't she, when she was in it? It's terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, if you read Jericho's book, he felt that Chyna held him back.
Really?
But yeah. Wow. He'd been paired with her. He felt was a test of whether he actually wanted being in WWE enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Nacho King's got a good point. You've got a lady there who's been in the Continental Champ twice.
Yeah.
Fair point.
I agree with the Jericho bit. Jericho is my favourite Intercontinental Champion by far. I mean, when he had that massive beard, like the long hair, like Ayatollah Rock and Roller sort of thing, absolute class. That was my favourite Jericho phase, and I definitely agree with that.
You need to read it as it's written.
I think you can do that better than me.
With this voice,
this is going to sound hot.
Oliver Slarry. Ooh, goldust.
I'm aroused.
Yeah, me too. And did Eddie Guerrero hold it a while with Chyna? I believe so. I believe there was a bit of joint custody. But Oliver Slarry agrees with you. Sensational one. Y2J gets my nod though.
Definitely.
And going back to those matches with Benoit, you can't follow.
Yeah, even though it was nutter, but awesome matches.
We also looked at the idea of what do you need to do to restore the kind of what went wrong, what needs to be done to restore it. And again, going to Michael Steven Fedorenko, too many title changes during the Attitude Era and too much focus and promotion on the Hardcore Championship, which for a time became WWE's #2 title.
Very true, very true.
With the highly entertaining 24/7 gimmick and people like RVD and Christian gunning for it, whilst the IC title was lost around the waist of Albert, the Godfather and Val Venus. Valid point.
Very good point. A very good point. I did love the 24/7 rule though. When Crash Holly went down that slide, and the cameraman went with him. That was awesome. Yeah, that was.
But then again, you look back, as Michael has, and maybe, essentially a great but a gimmick belt. Maybe that was part of the
downfall.
Trajectory is the word I'm looking for.
Michael
was
he's loving it.
Yeah, I'll say it did have a brief resurgence with Randy Orton and his Legend Killer gimmick, funnily enough. But then Shelton Benjamin happened, who had a whopping 9 months.
It was 9 months. This goes back to earlier. Yeah,
no one remembers.
I don't remember.
And again, he's something that we mentioned earlier. He goes on further points. The US title and world title. World title need to be scrapped. Oversaturation. He says, I'll be quiet now. Michael, don't be quiet. Speak up, we hear you, brother. The Nacho King.
This goes back to our one last week as well, doesn't it?
And this is very cyclical. What belt should remain? Where should the Intercontinental belt rank? I think second. Get rid of the heavyweight title by amalgamation.
I agree.
And have a US title on both Raw and SmackDown. Effectively 3 singles belts in total. But is that enough given the total roster size? I don't think so, Nacho King. Personally, I think you need maybe a couple more belts. Something else, a 4th belt with different rules as needed. A season with a trophy like the Bound for Glory series.
That'd be nice.
When will that start again? I'd imagine that'll start on our TVs anytime soon, so it tends to lead into October.
We don't work for TNA. We'd love to, but we don't.
Yeah, and again, TNA, if you're listening, we don't need. Yeah, we do need relocation expenses.
Big relocation.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I certainly think amalgamating the WWE and the heavyweight titles when Chris Jericho
undisputed title. That when he beat Stone Cold and Rock in the same night, still one of the best things I've ever
because
seen.
He
has Ziggler versus Cena. Yeah, Cena's champion, isn't he? Ziggler's Cena, but Cena would lose. No, sorry, Ziggler would lose because he always does.
And as great as, if you remember the Raw after WrestleMania this year when Ziggler finally cashed in, the pop he got from the crowd.
That was I think everyone did that night, awesome, didn't they? The crowd in general were just giving everyone.
Since then, though?
Since then, nothing. I think, to be fair, Big E Langston's got more of a push than Ziggler lately, which is, to be fair, he's good. I can't fault Big E Langston. Five.
I'm a soldier. And again, the last point we'll come to here, the Nacho King again. Why not make it the main event of a pay-per-view and give it credibility after the culmination of a heated rivalry? Sadly, it's all too linear at the moment. The World Heavyweight belt has demoted the Intercontinental belt tree. European, Cruiserweight, $1 million belt, Hardcore belt. 3 belts all butchered and lost by WWE.
Very true. He's also put the ECW title in there as well. I mean, that was just a waste of time.
That was a disgrace.
That was appalling. I couldn't even watch it.
So, I mean, you know, I think we need to do a couple of shout-outs. We need to let you know about the next episode. But what's the solution? You had night booking. You've got 18-month story arc.
Right.
What do you do with the Intercontinental Championship?
I'd probably keep it on Barrett, and I'll turn Barrett's character, but I'd make him go up the ranks.
Yeah.
I scrap that. I take that back. What I'd do is
no scripts.
No scripts. Love alcohol. What I'd do is I'd put it on someone like Seth Rollins. I'd put it on someone like Dean Ambrose, and I'd put it in the Shield. Because they would make it credible. Because they're a faction that are worth something. I mean, you've got the tag belts, put it on 2 members of the Shields, either of the 3, and in the Continental in there as well. That would then boost those belts because the tag belts mean nothing.
And with the prestige of the Shield and the way they've taken people out, the guy who then downs Rollins, Ambrose or Reigns to capture the IC title, then themselves are elevated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think they need some gold on them, and I can see them giving that belt some credit, to be honest with you, and they could do a hell of a run. Like, they can storm through the company with those belts.
Yep, so actually make it worthwhile. Think long term. Don't just change your mind after a day like you did after WrestleMania. Make it long term, because that belt means something. It means something to real fans.
To the proper fans, it does, yeah.
Quick shout out.
Oh, can we get it?
Yeah. You can see the SWO TV merchandise here. Over the last 7 years.
We're going to give a shameless promotion.
Oh yeah.
Dead Good Alternative Clothing and Custom Printing. They're in Regent Road in Great Yarmouth. They've done 3 of our...
Every single
shirt.
SWO
and they remembered us. We went there yesterday.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
Yeah,
he remembered us, and he's a great guy. They're all lovely people in there, so if you're ever about, you want a t-shirt printed, check them out.
Next episode. When did Ring of Honor take over the world? We're going to have a look at the fact that a lot of those guys who maybe 10 years ago were considered, I'm trying to think of the phrase from WCW, vanilla midgets.
Well, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, we'll bring that up next time.
That sounds amazing.
Have taken over the world.
Racist.
How did that happen? So, from a Lawman.
And the Sensational one.
See you next time. Keep it real, folks.
Keep
Stay
it sexy.
sexy.